Hello. My name is Tracy Ashfield, and I'm president of ACUMA, and I'm very, very happy to welcome you to another ACUMA on the Go series of programming. We offer a lot of great content. We always get lots of participation, and I most of all want to thank our host for today's event, Alex from Sales Boomerang, who you'll be hearing from in just a moment. But again, in addition to welcoming you, I want to remind everybody that we do have the ACUMA Annual Conference coming up September 12th through 15th at the beautiful Gaylord Resort in National Harbor. Lots of credit union people coming. I'm really excited to come together. We haven't seen everybody in person in so long. So I'm really looking forward to that. But today, we are here to focus on a credit union success story and one of ACUMA's very valued sponsor partners. So with that, Alex, I'm going to turn it over to you to get this party rolling.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you. And everyone tuning in, thank you for tuning in. And I must second that excitement about the conference that's coming up. We are so excited to go there and get to meet everyone in person. It's been a long time since we've seen all kinds of people in person, but this credit union space specifically. So Tracy, again, thank you for the warm welcome. I also want to welcome Jennifer, and please help me pronounce your last name so I do it right, because I know it's a special sound.
It's Coles.
Coles. See, everyone wants to say it differently. It's Coles. So Jennifer Coles here with us, Chief Lending Officer from Atlusso. Thank you so much for joining us for this conference. Now, as we get started, do not hesitate, everyone, to chime in. This is a conversation presentation, right? We're going to be sharing some successes. We're going to be diving into some really fun topics, right? Because what we're talking about is how to get more members to do more mortgages so we can build deeper relationships. Okay. So let us know while we're getting started. Why don't you just chime in real quick and everybody throw in, where are you listening from? City, state, maybe which company are you with? And so that we know you're out there, you're listening, you're participating, because the more engagement, the more interesting things can get. And as we're talking, again, something comes up, don't wait to the end to ask the question. Ask a question. We'll get to it towards the end here. So thank you, everyone. Look, we got people coming in here. Look at this. Landmark Credit Union. We got San Diego. We got Loveland here. Great. We got all sorts of wonderful. Thank you so much for participating. We know you're out there. We know you're listening, and we appreciate it. So Jennifer, should we get going?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So for you, Jennifer, let's start with this question. Tell us about Atlusso and your new role as the Chief Lending Officer.
I'll be happy to do that. I joined Atlusso in January of this year as the Chief Lending Officer, and the primary focus has absolutely been on loan growth. So I joined Atlusso and I'm happy to be celebrating with them in their 50th anniversary year. And we pride ourselves on being heavily involved in the communities that we serve. We work to create or to implement new ways to reach our existing members, but also to grow our membership. And I'm certain that most of you who are listening have uttered those same phrases. It's about growing and retaining.
That's fantastic. And so well, let me go back one. Any initial, and we're going to get into this, into the details of this, but anything you can say from joining Atlusso and as the Chief Lending Officer, anything that you thought about or wanted to implement as fast as possible when you got there? There's things that you saw that you were like, you know what, we got to make a couple of these shifts, and we're going to unpack more of that. But just any initial thoughts on when you joined in this role, you're like, okay, here's where I see we can really improve. Anything stand out?
Yeah, it's absolutely process improvement. I'm into change management and really improving processes to make it better for the member. And so while we're making it better for the member, we have to also focus on our staff, because change can be difficult. But everyone here has just been wonderful in accepting the things that I have proposed. And ultimately, we've got to just close loans faster. So we need the loans first, but we need to close them faster. So we'll focus on those two things as we go.
Fantastic. I love it. And so look, here's the beauty of the community that we're talking about, which is you, all of you that are on. And again, I just want to thank everyone for participating and letting us know where you are and which credit union you're with. It's really great. Jennifer, if you have a chance, take a look at those comments. You may know a lot of people on that list or know of those organizations. So look, from as you can see, credit unions, you all offer the lowest rates in the country, about 13% on average, lower rates than all non-credit union lenders out there. That's significant. That makes you're already serving your members differently than banks or lending mortgage lending institutions, and you offer better pricing. This really matters, right? Your community, your members, your customers, saving thousands of dollars for them is fantastic. But when you layer on top of that savings and the best service available in the lending industry, this is why Sales Boomerang is so excited to be here and to be having this conversation, because you have all the advantages. Now it's about equipping you with the tools and support to continue to overserve and continue to set the precedents for this industry, which is the lending industry, that you can do great work and really support your community and still be financially healthy. You don't have to choose one or the other. You can have all of the above. And from that NCUA study, Jennifer, can you confirm or would you challenge that the statistics of the lowest interest rates and how that makes a difference?
No, I certainly won't challenge it. I would agree with it 100%. And I think we have to continue to strive to be better, offer the best rates we possibly can, and charge the lowest possible fees. That's what we're here for.
Yes. And look, everyone listening, why don't you put a little comment in the chat section and let us know, did you know that you as a community offered the lowest rates, or is this news to you? Right? You can say, yes, I knew, or no, I didn't know. And if you didn't know, it's really important that you guys know that you guys will offer or can, or historically have offered the lowest rates in the country. And you can hear Jennifer is validating that for you right now. So here is the challenge. Best service. We care about our members and our customers more than anyone else in the lending space. And yet when we look at this statistic, it is sad that 97% of credit union members do not have a mortgage with a credit union. So it leaves just 3%, just 3% of your members are also in a mortgage with a credit union. How about this, Jennifer? Does this look about right to you?
I'm sad to say it does. I've worked now for 3 different credit unions, and I would say some larger ones, and certainly this one that's quite a bit smaller, but that is about what we see. And I can tell you that I've spoken with members now for more years than I'd like to tell you about. And I will consistently hear, I didn't know that you offered mortgage loans. And I kind of equate that to buying a car. You know, you think you've got the only one on the road, and all of a sudden after you buy it, you find out, gosh, all you see is, you know, Acura RDXs or whatever the case may be. And you thought you were the only one. So unfortunately, that statistic is true. And while Acuma's done a great job increasing market share, we're still struggling to get mortgages from our members.
Well, and here's why we're here. As we start to get deeper and deeper into this conversation, we're going to talk about how we turn that 97 into an 80, right? Like, how do we make 20% of our members become mortgage customers, and then 30, and then 40? How do we get there? And what's going to be great as we dig deeper into this conversation, you're going to get to hear Jennifer's ideas and opinions. And she is one of the most innovative people we've spoken to date in the credit union space. The way she thinks about business, the way she thinks about strategy is very unique. You're all about to hear that. So look, you just answered that question. Let's really, here comes the fun. Here's where you are about to hear from Jennifer, her goals and how she plans to achieve those goals, and what are some of the strategies. So Jennifer, tell us, like, what are your goals? I know we talked about a little bit speed, but let's really dive into it here. Let's really look into this and say, what are your lending goals for your new role, and for Lusso? What are your lending goals?
Well, for many of the credit unions out there, this number probably won't mean a whole lot, but I'm responsible this year for $7 million in loan growth. And in part, that's because the balance sheet shrunk last year, and you know, we need more loans. And so we have to be super creative about how we do that. And we want to get to our members before they even know they need something, or while they're, preparing for the conversation.
Yes.
And Sales Boomerang certainly helps us do that.
And so just to break down those goals or really dive deeper into them, your goal is to be able to get in front of your member at the moment or before they're ready to make a decision. So you, as we talked about earlier, you're looking to be an ear during those dinner conversations and going, okay, right? And understanding here's what husband and wife are talking about during dinner. This is what's important to them. How do we serve those people before they raise their hand? Because we know when they start to raise their hand, there are these amazing marketing assassins, as we like to call them, with Quickens and the Loan Depots of the world that do nothing but react. They're super fast, cat-like reflexes when it comes to reacting. And you're saying, hey, we want to react as fast as them or faster, but can we get ahead of our competitors by understanding where our members are at this moment, and then be able to offer them a solution before they raise their hand? Is that accurate?
That's exactly accurate. And I don't know that we can get there before they even have had that conversation around the dinner table, but we're going to be there darn close.
Yes. That's the goal. So look, this is very different than what the credit union space has been used to, right? It's been a lot of call me if you feel like it. Just remember to call me. I'm here if you need me. There's a lot of if you need me's. And so people aren't aware that you're there to help them, and trying to get them to remember you with the words if you need me. People forget that. They don't remember. They just simply don't remember. And so how do we get ahead of that? And that is where Sales Boomerang begins to shine. And so why don't you share with everyone before you decided to turn on Sales Boomerang? And we're about to share some success stories and really dive into some interesting numbers with everyone. But why don't you share with everyone, what was it that attracted you to Sales Boomerang in the first place? What did you hear? Because you have a lot of people on this call right now that are going, okay, well, Jennifer is innovative. Alex and team are speaking to the Akuma members, so there must be some belief from Akuma as well. But what was that thing that really said, let's make this happen?
Well, again, with loan growth being the goal and some traditional ways just not working, we had to partner with an innovative company and get there, as close to the timing of those conversations occurring around the dinner table. So folks are talking about home improvement or refinancing or purchasing their next home. And we are able to get alerts that alert us that these events are beginning to happen. And we can reach out as a trusted advisor to the member and say, hey, look, how you doing? We're just doing a check-in. And then we have an opportunity to get the business. Whereas if we didn't know, maybe they would choose us and maybe they wouldn't. But we know that we're going to stand a much better chance of growing our loan balances with Sales Boomerang.
So this was in complete alignment with Jennifer's goals. Remember, in the very beginning, I asked, when you just started in this new role, what was your main goal? And one of the main goals was speed. And so here, for those of you thinking about it, if speed to borrower or member servicing, right? Speed to engagement, speed to conversation, valuable speed to conversation is important, then Sales Boomerang may be a good reason or a good company for you guys to talk to as well. So here are the main reasons, right? Here are the biggest benefits that Sales Boomerang is offering the credit union community. And we can pause and unpack some of these as I mentioned them, Jennifer, but let me first mention the first one. This is truly the biggest and most powerful advantage we can give the credit union space, which is converting your members into borrowers. Remember that 97%? This is us taking that 97% and moving more to the other side and turning it from 97 to 95 to 90 to 85 to 80 and so on and so on and so on. That is what Sales Boomerang is the best in the world at, is taking your members and making them understand the value that you offer and making it easy and fast. So Jennifer, I don't know if you want to add anything to that or if I should go to number 2.
Well, we've had so far of the alerts that we've received over our first 30 to 40 days with the program, if 50% of the alerts that we've received are for folks who don't have much of a deposit relationship with us.
Mm.
And so we're calling out as a courtesy and saying, we know that there's some event going on, and, I'm not going to give you all the secret sauce, but the fact is that we're here to help you, and we can tell you about our rates and fees and hopefully convert some of those into new borrowers.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the first and biggest benefit and advantage that the credit union space gets. We will just make it so much easier because the timing, the value, what you're delivering to that member in that conversation is so in line with the member's own desires or needs, right? So that's number one. Number two, retaining more of those borrowers. So all of the loans that you end up doing, we help make sure that they stick with you. We help make sure that if there's another transaction coming, that you have a chance to win that the exact same way. So the second benefit Sales Boomerang is offering the credit union space is retaining those borrowers. And that is another thing that we are really, really strong at and specialize in, is the retention of those borrowers. And Jennifer, I know we were just 30, 45 days into this. So you are probably just starting to get some of those events. Like you said, you had some events already. Have you had any with existing borrowers yet? Have you had any notifications of existing borrowers?
Absolutely, we have. There's two different ways that we can retain borrowers. One is through an equity watch. So when they reach a certain equity position, we can get to them and see if they would like a home equity. And the other is a rate watch. So we have the ability to say, look, we can do better for you than what you have currently.
Yes. And if they're ever shopping, that's the other event. If they're shopping for a mortgage, you can get there and say, let me give you a second opinion. Let me remind you of why you're a member of Lusso, right? Yep. And so, and number three, and number three is growing the membership. So not just turning members into borrowers, not just retaining those borrowers, but now also growing your membership. Now, this happens several different ways. Jennifer just mentioned to you that 50 of the notifications they got were with someone that does not have a membership relationship or complete relationship with Lusso the way they'd like them to be. So right there and then we can start to get those notifications. You can start to contact those people and grow the membership relationship through the notification. But the other way is going to be by helping you build agent and realtor relationships. We are helping the credit union space make sure that they are building exclusive relationship with agents and making those agents feel like they're part of something great and giving the agents more referrals than they give you. This is the secret. How do you get an agent to be committed to working with you? You give them more than they give you. And with Sales Boomerang, that's what happens. We generate so many notifications. You're about to see the number of potential notifications per month. We generate so many notifications in a single month that there are more referrals you can give your agent partners than your agent partners will ever give you. And that creates its own community, its own network, its own ecosystem. And so then your agents start to refer way more business. Your agents start to want to share their data with you and want to be in this environment that there's no member left behind, right? That's the goal. No member left behind. And so that is the third and very impressive benefit, is to grow your existing membership base. And again, Jennifer, you can point out a couple of those or an experience you've already had and maybe highlight how well that's working in getting the people on the phone.
Sure. Well, we have a member, one of our branch managers, her name's also Jennifer. She was on the phone with a member and talking about the loan program. This was generated from an alert, and someone that was in the branch heard her speaking and stopped by her desk when she was off the phone and said, I want to get that too. So one alert actually turned into 2 loans.
Wow. I love it. I love it. And so this is how this one program helps so many different areas of the business. And so let me explain that, and this is something that most, not just credit unions, but most lenders in general don't understand this about the community or the people in the United States that are mortgage owners or homeowners. 11 mortgage-related transactions on average. Just understand this for a second. 11 mortgage-related transactions on average. That means if you have 10,000 members, there's over 100,000 transactions that will happen with those members in a single lifetime. That is a significant, significant number of mortgage-related transactions. Sales Boomerang's job is to get you to all 11. If you meet your member on the first, you're going to get the next 10. If you meet them on the fifth, you're going to get the next 6, right? That is what we specialize in. But most importantly, and this is where the credit union space stands to win more than any other lending space, period, is that you offer so much more than just a mortgage. You have so much more to offer to these members, to these consumers than just a mortgage. You have an entire suite of services. You have this community-centric style of business, whereas in a lot of other lending institutions, and why they're so scared of being transactional, we haven't heard that in the space, because you're not afraid about being transactional. You actually want to overserve your customer. And with this understanding of how many transactions can happen, you can actually explain to your members that, look, this won't be your last transaction, and we're here to help for all future transactions. We're a smart credit union. We invest into intelligent technologies to help us help you, sometimes in moments that you don't know that we could help you. We're going to appear and we're going to offer you these suggestions. And that message lands so much stronger with a credit union than a mortgage lender, because mortgage lenders have notoriously been known to just sell. And what happens after the sale, nobody knows. But in the credit union space, it's like, look, you're now a member, you're part of this community. We're here to help. We're here not to help, not just with mortgages, but what else can we help you with, right? Knowing that if nothing else, you're going to be focused on these 11 transactions, that you're going to be positioned properly for them. But this is a very important part of the conversation. If you didn't know that there's 11 mortgage-related transactions, you've just learned something new, and you're going to look at your customer base very differently now that you know that. You're going to add more and more value to make yourself more attractive for your members to choose you. The other very important statistic to understand about consumers is how they make their decisions. This is very important. 79% of consumers will make their decision to go with the first lender they speak to about their mortgage. Okay. Very important to understand that. We're going to look at this slide right here in just a minute that talks about all the different notifications. Well, most of the notifications that Sales Boomerang offers are offensive notifications. There's defensive and offensive. Defensive means you're protecting your borrower or member from leaving you, and offensive is you're presenting something to your member before any other person in the lending space offers that. That's offense. And so that makes you the first person to speak to them, which 79% of the time makes you the winner of that deal. And as a matter of fact, we have some amazing stats. Our current customers, the ones that are using the program to fully benefit their organization, 70% of every engagement with a Sales Boomerang notification turns into an application. Right? It's a very, very high, and that's when you start to dial in the success. So again, 79% of people make the decision with the first borrower. 92% of consumers will make the decision with the first or second. So Sales Boomerang specializes in making you first. At the very worst, we make you second. And second is a mortgage inquiry, right? I'll go over here. Second is a mortgage inquiry. That means they're already shopping with somebody else, but you're the second one to give them a shot and find out how you can help them, right? So at the very worst, you're getting a second opportunity. Another place where you could be second is on a listing event. Listing means they've already listed their home for sale. So you're not going to be the first one to talk to them about a mortgage, but you could be the second. And so that is the goal. If we can't make you first, if everybody watched Talladega Nights, you're not last, you're just second. and in this case, being second is a very powerful position to be in, because if you're second only to a mortgage lender or only to a bank, guess what? We already know all of your advantages. We're going to use Sales Boomerang to not make you better salespeople, but better service people, better servants of your community. And so you're not over there going, hey, we just want to compete with this lender on price, because if you want to do that, Mr. and Mrs. Member, we're going to win every time. We are definitely lower than that bank. But more importantly, Let us show you how else we're going to serve you. We're here calling you because we care, because you're a member, because you're part of this community. So you're going to use the Sales Boomerang platform to really elevate your relationships with your members and show them that we're much more than a credit union. We can also be your mortgage lender. We can also be these other financial services for you. But this slide specifically, this is a very exciting slide for me to share with everybody on here. So if you look at the top, the very top, you look at some of the success rates. I want to be very clear. These are the success rates that we've seen outside of the credit union space. And we are aiming to have those same results for you. So look at the numbers. Right now, outside of the credit union space, for every dollar invested in Sales Boomerang, our lending partners get $24 back. That's right, 24x return on investment. For every dollar invested, $24 comes back. I'm going to pause at the end of this, at the end of the top section, and have Jennifer sort of share some more. Or actually, no, we have the success story coming up right after this, or more success stories. Our clients are seeing 20 to 40% lift in volume. Okay. And cost of acquisition is under $300 on average. That is what we are aiming to accomplish here in this space. That is why we're so excited. We feel like this space, because of your advantages of having the lowest rates, because of your advantages of caring, yes, believe it or not, we had to convince the mortgage lending space to care about their customers. We love that space. Wonderful space. They just had a little bit of a backwards mindset. If they can't help you, they go forward. And we say, hey, your customer needs your help. Always. Do not just focus on when you can help them today, but focus on helping them forever. We did not have to teach you guys that. You all knew that. You were born from the exact same thought as we were, which is, how do we make sure no member is left behind? Okay. And so that's the top section. Is we want to, that is our goals for you in this space. The bottom section, this is very interesting. This is where you guys want to really listen up. This is where most people are just simply shocked. Just simply shocked. This is why I want to give a lot of kudos to Jennifer and her innovative way of thinking. We're actually going to dive into some of those things in just a moment about what you're doing on the innovation front. But very important that you see what this chart represents. 13.5% of your entire database could have a mortgage-related event every month. I want you to think about that for a second. Just internalize it just for 1 second. If you have 10,000 people in your membership, in your base, that could be 1,300 mortgage-related events in just 1 month. If you have all of these notifications turned on, that is a lot of opportunities. Jennifer, in the first 30 days, how many opportunities did you get created?
75.
75 in 30 days.
Yep. And so that's between 2 and 5 per loan officer per day. Most of them have been mortgage inquiries, which means they've applied somewhere else for a mortgage. So we get on top of those right away and see if we can't either match a rate or beat the closing costs. So we try to get that business back. The other 2 inquiries or alerts that we're getting are the equity watch, and we're also getting the rate alert. So when we can maybe improve the rate that they currently have. And one that we have not turned on yet is the credit improvement. I've got some more data cleanup to do. But that's where I think credit unions really become the trusted advisor of their members. And so anything we can do to say, look, we can't help you today, but we want you to think of us first next time, and treat every member the same, whether they've got $5 or $500,000 or a 620 credit score or an 800 credit score. We want to be there for them.
Yes, I love that. And so that is the part that's so important, that trusted advisor. You can finally be a trusted advisor because you can actually call your members with advice instead of calling your members and asking them, have you seen the rates? Are you thinking about a mortgage? Right? That sounds like there's a sales pitch coming. But when you call and say, look, Mr. or Mrs. Member, we've noticed how much equity you've built in your home. In the past 3 months, we've helped several members take equity out and buy investment properties, take equity out and pay down their debts, take equity out and build a pool, take equity out and do whatever it is. You are calling with advice. You're not calling to ask and then hopefully offer advice. You are always picking up the phone, and you will always have good news to share, no matter what the situation is, right? Like a cash out or a debt watch notification will let you know that your borrower has plenty, or the member has plenty of equity in their home, so they can take advantage of that, maybe pay off some debts. An MI removal notification. Isn't that the best news you can call somebody with? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Member, I'm about to save you $118 a month simply because I noticed you can remove your mortgage insurance. Is that how you're looking at this, Jennifer, as becoming that
Absolutely.
advisor?
Yep. And in the beginning, I was a little bit nervous because I didn't know if we'd have the resources to be able to make all those outbound calls. And really what it comes down to is between 2 and 5 alerts per day per loan officer. So it's not daunting when you think about making a couple of outbound calls a day.
Yes. So it is truly all about giving your loan officers and your team the ability to hear and be heard, right? You're hearing what's happening in your members' lives, and then you want to be heard. It's hear and be heard, and it's about the timing. So is this the right time? Are we actually offering value? Because so often in the mortgage lending space, there's so much spam that people don't know if the timing is right. And so with Sales Boomerang, we focus on making sure that the time is always right for the member, and that you can always offer that valuable conversation without sounding salesy, without trying to force them into something. It's all about community building. It's all about relationship building. It's all about showing them why they chose to be a member here, or why they should be a member with you, and not just floating around trying to figure out where their next transaction or their next loan is going to come from. This is no member left behind. They will always hear from you at the right moment. The question is, can you show them that this is very valuable for them? Will they be willing to listen? And in more cases than not, they are willing to listen. And so let's give some advice. Couple things to mention as we go through this, Jennifer, is look, first of all, here's this solution from Sales Boomerang that advises you on which member needs a mortgage right now, right? Then it's about, how do we get those members to become mortgage customers? How do we get more people to become members of your credit union? But we also want to think about, how does this tech stack, or how does this technology connect or work with other technologies? And so, Jennifer, let's talk about some of the things we can offer as advice, and then let's dive into some of the tech stack conversation. And then we're going to open it up for Q&A. So please, as we're talking, throw some questions into the mix, throw them in the chat, throw them in the Q&A, and Jennifer and I will do our best to answer some of those questions. So what can we offer as advice?
Well, we certainly have to continue to be passionate about what we're doing, about the mission of credit unions. And then we also have to be there when they're ready. So it's not about sitting back and waiting for the phone to ring. It's about making that outbound call, checking up on you, how are you doing? Want to let you know what our rates are. And we're already aware there's an event that's occurred, but
Right.
We're not calling him and saying, hey, you had an inquiry on your credit report. How come you didn't call me first? We're saying, how can we help you? And it's really been fantastic. So, the results will continue to pile up, and I have no doubt that we'll achieve our loan growth goals as a result.
So talk to us about your technology as well. So what Jennifer just shared with you is about, again, positioning yourself to overserve the member. But let's talk about your technology for a second. You've now incorporated Sales Boomerang. What other technologies do you have? What are you looking at? What are you looking for in those technologies? Let's really help this community.
Well, I'm interested in technology that allows me to serve the member faster. I want things to be much easier for them. So the POS has got to be, top notch. I need for them to be able to communicate with me through that. Once we have our applications, then we've got to do our best to get those loans closed as fast as possible. So just maximize whatever technology you're currently using. And if it's not working for you, don't be afraid to go look for something else.
Yes. And look, here's something very important. Here at Sales Boomerang, we have open APIs and open integrations with all of our partners. We are working on specific integrations just for the credit union space. And so, like a Meridian link, we're looking to build that relationship so you can go to one place, but get access and visibility and conversation between all of your technologies. Jennifer and I were laughing about this earlier. You want to look at your technology like a Lego set. If something doesn't fit, do not buy it. Only buy the things that fit together. So if you have a technology, let's just call it a POS, and then you're looking at a CRM for just conversation, and that POS does not integrate with that CRM, rethink the process. You want to support your investment. If you already have a POS and you're looking for a CRM, find a CRM that integrates with that POS. Otherwise, you're going to have silos, and people don't work well in silos. It's very difficult. If you have to remember logins for everything, you may forget it. It may be difficult. 20 screens open and you can't remember which one is which. You want to find a way to connect things. And at Sales Boomerang, we're completely frictionless. Our entire process is to make sure that you can log into one place, but get access to everything. And we're hoping to bring the exact same experience right here in this credit union space. And I believe not only that we will be able to do that, but we'll be able to offer it in such a way that the credit union space has not seen before. And that is working with great groups like Blend, like Meridian Link. Fantastic advice. I love it. So look, we have gotten to the end of our conversation. Jennifer is someone that I highly recommend everyone from the credit union space spend some time picking her brain. The way she thinks about business, the way that she thinks about people, the way she thinks about her team and the future is so enlightening. It's just a special way of and the way you go about it, Jennifer, it's just like an everyday thing for you. It's just effortless for you to think about what you want to do for your organization, but the credit union specifically. You were telling me how you're supporting other credit unions and advising and other technologies. And I think that's so innovative and so impressive. So I highly recommend anyone that has never met Jennifer to spend some time with her. As you can see, her email and her contact information is there. My contact information is there as well. For anyone that's saying, hey, my goodness, wow, we'd love to overserve our members like that. Wow, we'd at least like to know if they're active in the market so we can at least support them in making a decision. Schedule a demo, go to salesboomerang.com, schedule a demo, talk to our team. We are so focused on the credit union space. It is, for those of you that haven't heard me say this before, I'll say it again. This has been 4 years in the making for us. We have been working for 4 years to be able to serve your community. We just weren't big enough. We just didn't have enough bandwidth and enough human power to help the credit union space the way we're ready to do it now. And it's the most exciting part of our business today, is working with credit unions and helping you guys achieve your goals. And so I'm looking down at chat. As I'm looking at that, Jennifer, would you like to offer any thoughts while we're looking for questions?
No, I just think, one of the biggest challenges I've seen in the credit union space is, and it's probably existing other places as well, but people buy a system and then make that system work the way they've always done business. And I would much rather see people think about the way they would like to serve their member, think about the way they would like to take care of their staff, and then buy a system that really forces them to change the way they do business and try new things.
I love that. That's the innovation I was telling you all about right there. Jennifer puts herself in a position that she has to evolve. And I love that. I see some questions. So let's look at this. So Gordon is asking, what is the best format for CRM, POS, PPE, LOS servicing that works best with Sales Boomerang? So Gordon, I want to make sure I understand your question. When you say format, are you asking for what's the best data format? Or are you asking for which organizations do we work with best? I want to make sure I'm answering your question. If which one is which that you're actually asking about. So if you could give me that. In the meantime, I'm going to go to Kevin Lott. What core mortgage LOSs do you currently integrate with? So in the credit union space, the one that we're working on right now that we have a contract that's getting executed is with Meridian Link. That's our core group that we want to integrate with for the credit union space. We're also working on an integration with Ellie Mae and Encompass for that as well. So we'll have two of the largest providers that we're working with. We also have some smaller or up and coming LOSs that are coming up that we're talking about integrations with. But those are the two that we're working on deals with right now. So I hope, Kevin, that helps you. Let's see, Gordon, do you integrate with the new Mortgage Cadence MCP platform, Borrower Center? Gordon, that would be a new one for us to look into, but we would love to. We haven't in here. Let me stop sharing here. Hopefully everyone grabbed information from Jennifer and me, and now we can kind of stop sharing, and now you can see us directly. So to answer your question, we have not had any conversations with that group yet, but would love to. So Kevin, if you have direct, it was actually Gordon, if you have those direct relationships, please make an introduction. We would love to integrate with them. Our entire mission has always been frictionless. We would rather you log into one place and get access to everything than log into 20 different places. That is our mission. So thank you for that. Let's see. We're giving coffee away for all those people scheduling demos. Fantastic. That's good. Which orgs work best? Okay. So Gordon, your question about CRMs, LOSs, POSs. So in the CRM space, when it comes to the lending CRMs, we integrate with all of them. There isn't one we don't integrate with. So everything you can imagine, the total experts of the world, the Velocifies, the Incelerates, Sherpa, you name it. I think we have like 30 integrations right now with CRMs. So if there's any lending CRM that you're looking at, we probably already have an integration with them. When it comes to POS or LOS, I mentioned the LOSs already. The point of sale, there really isn't a real need for us to integrate with point of sale at this moment, because we will integrate with the system that holds those records, right? So POS is people are incoming. Once they come in and the data is distributed into a CRM or an LOS, then that's where we come into play. So we don't meet the borrower on the front end. We meet them when they're already in your database, once you've already kind of had the conversation. So we don't have an integration there that we can sort of tout because it just hasn't been necessary, because that integration exists with the CRM or LOS and we integrate with them. So hopefully that answers your question there, Gordon, but that's a great question. What else can we answer? We have a few minutes here. We'd love to give everyone a little bit more insights if you'd like to hear them. Sure, you're welcome, Gordon. I would throw some questions out for Jennifer. Pick her brain. This is someone that will answer things about the credit union space and lending specifically that's far more innovative than what I will tell you today, because Jennifer thinks about this all day, every day, about credit unions and the innovation there. So if you have some questions, I would throw them out there. But if you took her email down and want to ask in private, that's okay too.
It's okay
That's
too.
all right too. Yeah. As a matter of fact, here's one for you, Jennifer. Approximately how many of those 75 leads were you able to convert into an app? I don't know if you have that information or not, Jennifer.
Yeah, right now it's 2. And so we're early on in the process. We've got some people that are just thinking about it. Some people are waiting to see if rates go lower. But we're confident that we're going to convert many more of those 75.
Excellent. And to answer your question, great question, Kevin. And to answer your question, statistically speaking, with all the organizations that have been using Sales Boomerang, what ends up happening is you're going to start to level out and start to average out and get closer to 10%. That's what everyone gets to. They slowly but surely, your teams start to get comfortable. They start to get comfortable with the conversations. Some of your members hear from you more than once in a year because of the events you're tracking, and they start to understand that you're really investing in their well-being, and you're going to start to see that number crawl to about 10%. That's where we're seeing the groups that we work with. So great question, Kevin. 2 so far. But we'd love to see that number really grow for you too, Jennifer. We'd love to see that turn into 7, 8, 9, 10 from the original 75, which is very, very possible. That's not an unusual.
Well, it'll certainly more than pay for itself if that's the case.
Oh yes.
I think a couple will take care of it, but certainly we'd like to be closer to that 10%.
Yep. And so something important to share too, for those of you that may not even know to ask this question, and Jennifer can verify this. We are very, very big into support and strategy and helping you continue to grow. Every morning, all our customer success team does is they wake up and ask one question only. How can we help our clients increase their ROI today? That's all they ask. Our North Star is your return on investment. There's never been a more aligned organization than us in thinking about how do we increase your ROI? and that's it. And that can come in many different forms. That could come in turning on alerts, that could come in training, but that could also come from introductions. Hey, Jennifer, I'd like to introduce you to Dale Vermillion, who's a great trainer in sales for loan officers around the country. That would help you increase your ROI. So it's not just about getting more Sales Boomerang in front of your team. Sometimes it's making introductions to partners. Sometimes it's making introductions to lead generation sources or other information sources that you could benefit from. So literally all day, every day, our customer success team says, how can we help? And Jennifer, could you share what's been your experience from onboarding to getting started to the support since you've been with us for about 30 days now?
Rock star is all I can say. The onboarding manager kept me on task, emailed me in between our weekly meetings, let me know, if are we there? Are we close? And then our account executive took over after we went live. There was a nice introduction from one person to the other, and we have a weekly call. It's no more than 15 minutes. So it's not consuming, a ton of time. It's really, how's it going this week? Is there anything we can help you with? And I think as we grow with the product and start to have more success, that will open up other conversations to more ways to get this loan growth that we need.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That is such an important part of our business. And the fastest growing part of Sales Boomerang is the customer success part. We're just putting a lot of great people in those roles so that we can be of assistance anytime that it's required, and then we can make changes and be supportive. Just like you guys want to be for your members. We're the same way. We just want to invest more into that support. So look, I don't see any more questions coming through. Jennifer, this has been so fun. I hope everyone has had a good experience. You've learned something. Maybe we've inspired some new thinking. We'd love to have conversations with you. Take some time and schedule a conversation. Let us show you what this would mean for your business and what things can look like. And of course, reach out to Jennifer. She loves this space. I've never seen anyone so committed to helping the community as she does. Although everyone I've met in the community feels this way about the community, so it's really phenomenal. But thank you again, Jennifer. Thank you so much. You've been wonderful. This has been great.
My pleasure.
And Tracy, thank you as well. I know you're still there in the background listening in. Thank you so much for allowing us to speak to your audience. You've been such a wonderful host for all of these things. So thank you very much.